accepted, or people just don't know any better, so they don't question.
Look at the enormous hypocrisy, the historical amnesia we suffer from. India was the land of some of the greatest universities in the world. Vikramshila, Takshashila, Nalanda, Udantapuri. All these places were the Harvards and Princetons of our country, where Fahian, Hyonsang, all scholars from all over the world came to study. Now in Nalanda, when Bakhtiyar Khilji attacks Nalanda, it is said that the amount of manuscripts and knowledge that was there when he set it to fire, it burned for 6 long months. That was the knowledge systems of this country that was destroyed. Today you go to the Nalanda ruins and you come out of that place, the town there is named Bakhtiyarpur. Now, Bakhtiyarpur station. Now, which other country in the world, tell me, actually glorifies somebody who ransacked your Oxford and Princeton and Harvard? That is historical amnesia. That is a total lack of historical consciousness. We feel, and this is again the Nehruvian construct, where we feel you need to have a rupture from the past. Let's not even talk about all of this. But you can't chart a new future for Rising Bharat unless you address the problems of the past. These wounds have to heal, and it will heal only through truth, not through subterfuge.
So, Mr. Sanyal, are we at the risk of making the Indic civilizational idea, and some people have a problem with this, too cultural, too Sanskritic, too majoritarian, and therefore too brittle?
No, so I have a problem with this idea. Just because we are bringing up a civilizational view of history, a longer view of history, does not mean that we want to turn it into some sort of a monolithic view. Ironically, the Hindu view and Hinduism itself is hardly anything monolithic. In fact, it is all about diversity. The fact that we have diversity after thousands of years of being a unified civilization and consciously one, we still have so much diversity. It tells you that there is many views of history. I have no problem with different interpretations of the facts. I have no problem with that. After all, you just need to watch your own television debates to see that we cannot decide on what happened yesterday. They are loudly debating about what happened yesterday. So I have no problem about different people having different views of what happened 2000 years ago. Historians will obviously disagree. The problem is that you are not even agreeing on basic facts which are obvious and clear. You see, you're allowed to your own opinion. You're not allowed your own facts. So this is my real problem. If once you have a set of information, interpreting it slightly differently here or even quite a lot differently here and there and having different impressions of it is perfectly fine. I mean, clearly the Bengali view of history may not be the same as the Kannada view of history. That is fine.
Vikram Sampath, finally, how do we come to terms? You said truth and reconciliation, maybe that doesn't happen. So you want to obviously educate the masses on what really happened. School curricula can be rewritten, for example, and reflect perhaps the civilizational narrative in the correct perspective, right? Or does that sort of risk state-sponsored history of another kind?
See, I mean, there are always, as I said, multiple versions of history, and every group jostles for its voice to be heard. The problem in India, what happened even in colonial times, where space was provided for the nationalist school of historiography. It was not a bad word to be a nationalist even under colonial rule, where historians like Sir Jadunath Sarkar, R.C. Majumdar, V.K. Rajwade, K.P. Jaiswal, all these people thrived. It's only after independence, ironically, that all alternative voices were snuffed out. And this very monochromatic, hegemonic rule of Marxist historiography was imposed on everybody. And anybody who didn't subscribe to that had to pay a very heavy price with their careers being destroyed and so on. So I think today there is, thanks to the information age, there's space for multiple voices to be heard. Some of us are doing our work as individuals to correct it. I think Sanjeev is also part of a committee which is trying to correct the school textbooks and their curriculum, which ideally should have happened a long while back, but better late than never, they say. Some of us also in the private sector, be the change that you want to see. So a small example I'd give of myself, where I've started a foundation called the Foundation for Indian Historical and Cultural Research, which is to foster new scholarship in Indian history. The only answer to distorted history is to create more and more scholarship, just not complaining and blaming this or the other. And so we are giving out fellowships in the name of Sir Jadunath Sarkar for people to write books. We are actually incubating projects in universities, a current one with Nalanda University on the history of Buddhism in Bharat, which is always used as an area of schism between the two communities. Myths about Ashok and so on, which Sanjeev has busted in the past. So all of this with actually going back to the primary sources. The problem, Rahul, is our history is written in languages that we don't know. I mean, Sanskrit, Pali, Prakrit, Persian, Arabic. It's such a...
and the Indus Valley script. Which
and all of those scripts.
Yeah.
So for a modern historian to learn all these languages, it will take me a couple of lifetimes. So maybe what we are doing here at FIHCR is to create a multidisciplinary group where a historian talks with scholars of those languages, an archaeologist, a geologist, maybe a geneticist and molecular biologist is needed to decode things like this whole Aryan invasion myth and so on. And that is a scholarship that we hope to put out and change the narrative for a rising Bharat.
Well, let's just hope that the two of you can pen more chronicles that reset the framework in which we read our history, and hopefully it'll be more factual. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Put your hands together for two very learned individuals in this lovely conversation we've had. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Sampath and Mr. Sanyal. Thank you so much. Thank you, Rahul. That was a lovely conversation. Ladies and gentlemen, let's now take off to somewhere else, to space. Oh, you're going to love this. 2 years ago, Bharat entered the elite space club as Chandrayaan-3 landed on the moon's south pole, making India the first country to do so. And as we speak, the world and India has welcomed back one of its own space heroes, Sunita Williams, who has spent an incredible 286 days in space. We are in the middle of an exciting new space